Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 12th of March, 2025. So let's just dive right in.
Okay.
Malaysian company news.
Let's go.
Buy now, pay later.
Okay.
Big news, right? I mean, we saw Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan. He announced BNPL transactions reached 7.1 billion ringgit
Wow.
in the second half of last year, which is a huge jump from the 4.9 billion in the first half of the year.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
So what I find interesting is who is using these services, right? We're looking at 5.1 million active users by the end of 2024.
Wow.
And they tend to be younger. Between 21 and 45, monthly income under 5,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
This suggests that BNPL is becoming a popular way for this segment to manage their spending.
Yeah, I mean, makes you think about like long-term financial habits, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's interesting to see how that develops. But for now, the good news is, at least the outstanding amount's pretty small.
Yeah, only 82.6 million ringgit.
Right.
A teeny tiny fraction of the overall household debt.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It seems like the government's being proactive about this growth, which is good to see.
Definitely, yeah.
So we have this upcoming consumer credit bill. This is going to be big. If it goes through, it'll bring BNPL providers under the supervision of a new Consumer Credit Commission. And the whole point of this is to protect you, the consumer, by making sure there are ethical practices, clear fees, fair terms. So really just about putting some guardrails.
Yeah. As this new way of spending becomes more common,
All right.
okay, Saliran Group,
Okay.
they supply pipes for the oil and gas industry. They're going to list on the ECE market this Thursday. And they've actually reported a profit of 3.72 million ringgit.
Not bad.
For the most recent quarter. And over 13 million for the full year.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Most of their business is coming from Malaysia. And then Indonesia.
Interesting. So this listing kind of gives us a glimpse into that oil and gas sector.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and their positive outlook is in line with like Malaysia's expected economic growth, government's development spending. But they did mention this carbon tax on steel that's coming up in 2026.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like a reminder that even these established industries have to think about environmental regulations. Could be challenges, you know, costs and stuff, but also opportunities to come up with new things.
Yeah. Okay, FGV Holdings.
Okay.
A little bit of a roadblock here.
Oh.
Bursa Securities rejected their request for more time to meet that public shareholding spread requirement.
Again.
The 8th time.
Wow, they've been trying.
I know. So they got to get to 25%. They're currently just over 13%, with a deadline looming in September.
So this shows, you know, how tricky it can be for companies when a major shareholder has a huge stake.
Right, like Felda, with over 80%.
Exactly. So they're trying to find a solution, like this bonus issue of Islamic redeemable preference shares.
Yeah.
But even that needs government approval.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah. It's a lot about balancing those regulatory commands with keeping those stakeholders happy.
Yeah, you got to keep everybody happy.
Okay, so public shareholding spread just means making sure there are enough shares out there for everyone to trade.
Exactly.
You know, helps with the liquidity, fair prices.
That makes things fair for everybody.
All right. Teleport.
Teleport.
This is Capital A's logistics arm. And they've got some big goals.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking for private funding to support their expansion. And then before a potential IPO, they want to increase their daily parcel delivery 5 times this year.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
That's ambitious.
And then they even want to enter the European market by the end of 2025. That is a big leap.
It is. It's really reflecting that strong growth we're seeing in logistics, which, of course, is fueled by all the e-commerce.
Yeah, all that online shopping.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, Teleport's saying, hey, we see a huge opportunity here, both in Malaysia and beyond. And going to Europe, that's a big move.
Yeah.
Could really change things up there.
All right. Irdassan Group. Not so positive news here.
Oh, no. What happened?
They suspended their executive director. Well, looking into some potentially shady deals from a few years back.
Never good.
And this is happening at a time when they've already been dealing with financial losses.
Oh, so this is adding to their problems.
Yeah.
You know, whenever we see this kind of news, it just raises those red flags about corporate governance. And especially when a company is already struggling, these investigations can really shake investor confidence.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it just reminds us how important transparency is and accountability in those listed companies.
Okay, Guacaland. Big plans here.
Okay, I'm listening.
500 million ringgit
Okay.
medium-term notes program. They're going to use this for various things: investments, working capital, and they might even do what they're calling sustainability MTNs.
Oh, sustainability MTNs. What are those?
Yeah. So essentially, it's about funding those eco-friendly projects.
Oh, they're large, like green bonds?
Yeah, kind of, but for companies.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, they're tying their borrowing to those environmental and social goals, which, appeals to investors who care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Definitely a growing trend. We're seeing more and more of that.
Okay. Silver Ridge, little surprise here.
What happened?
Unusual market activity query
from
Bursa Malaysia after their share price took a tumble, even though they reported a profit.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, I know, right?
So the stock exchange is basically saying, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, what's with all this unusual trading? So, the fact that it happened, despite them making money, suggests something else is up.
Right. So investors better be careful. Maybe dig a little deeper. See what's really going on.
All right. Scientex Packaging. They had some good news.
Good news.
Their net profit went up.
Okay.
Driven by those strong export sales.
Nice.
But
but
they are keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
The global economic situation.
Right.
And what's happening over in Myanmar.
Okay. Yeah, that's important to consider. Exports are huge for a lot of Malaysian manufacturers.
Yeah.
So good for Scientex Packaging. Doing well there. But yeah, the world's a little unpredictable right now.
It is, yeah. So they're being cautious.
Makes sense.
Okay, RHB Investment Bank. They're feeling pretty good about my news.
Okay, right. What's the word on the street?
Yeah. They're predicting a strong start to the financial year with good profits, thanks to those better sales, higher margins, and the return of all those tourists.
Oh, tourists are back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like a potential turnaround. For my news, the boost from tourism and their food processing business doing well. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Looks like they're riding that wave of economic recovery.
Okay, Farmaniaga.
Their
shares haven't been doing so well.
Oh, no.
They're getting ready for a shareholder meeting to approve a plan to escape that PN17 status, which means they're talking about reducing their capital.
Yeah.
And raising funds. Doesn't sound easy.
No, it doesn't. So those PN17 companies, they're in financial trouble, right?
Right.
And to get out, they often need to restructure things. So Farmaniaga, they're trying to reduce capital, raise new money, but the market's not so sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like investors are a little worried, even with support from those major shareholders.
It's a risky move, for sure. All right, let's talk about renewable energy.
Okay.
ES Senlonergy, their subsidiary, just got a big contract.
Well, that's good.
34 million ringgit.
Wow.
To build a big solar power project over in Kedah. Operations should start later this year.
So this is good news for renewable energy in Malaysia. These projects are crucial to hit those sustainability goals and, not rely on just one source of energy.
Exactly. Okay, Sim Darby property, they had a lot of people wanting those new landed homes in Elmina Green. The first phase sold out.
During the preview. Wow, that's a hot property.
Yeah.
So this shows you people still want good quality houses in the right locations. Buyers trust Samba Darby property.
And Elmina Green. It just ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
All right, Global Tech Formation. They're changing things up.
Oh, how so?
With their energy investments in Indonesia. They're focusing on a more promising coal bed methane project.
Yeah.
And that already has a gas sales agreement in place.
So they're being strategic.
Yeah. Prioritizing those projects that are going to make money. It's all about streamlining that portfolio.
Yeah. Focusing on what works.
Okay. KESM Industries. Another quarterly loss. Weak demand for those automotive chips.
Yeah. The whole semiconductor industry is kind of having a tough time.
It is. But they're still hopeful.
Okay.
About future growth, especially in things related to electric vehicles.
So they're looking ahead.
Yeah, to the future of the car industry.
Right, because that's where things are going. Electric vehicles are the future.
Yeah. Okay, CG University.
Okay.
They launched a virtual learning platform.
Cool. So online learning.
Yeah, they want to reach more students online, which, the government's all for it. It's a big step for them.
It is. They can reach a global audience now.
Yeah, and it shows how important online learning is becoming.
Yeah, the future of education.
All right, last one from Malaysian company news. Sunway Group and Celcom Digi teaming up to create Malaysia's first 5G smart mall.
Wow.
At Sunway Pyramid.
Sunway Pyramid. That's cool. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, they're talking about integrating AI to enhance the whole retail experience.
Sounds futuristic.
Yeah.
So this is really showcasing what 5G can do for shopping, improving security operations, but also making it more fun for shoppers.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see more of this in the future.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to international news.
Seems
like emerging market stocks across Asia, including Malaysia, experienced a bit of a sell-off.
Oh, no.
Worries about a potential U.S. economic slowdown. And, those U.S. President Trump's trade policies.
Yeah, those are causing some uncertainty. It just goes to show how connected all these economies are.
Yeah. If the U.S. sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold.
Right, exactly. So these concerns about the U.S. economy, they make investors nervous.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and that affects those markets across Asia. And then in the U.S., their stock market also took a dip, particularly tech stocks. And this was all fueled by those same concerns about Trump's policies, possibly hurting their economy.
So investors are getting spooked.
Yeah, they're definitely a little uneasy right now. Okay. Goldman Sachs, they're reporting that hedge funds are pulling back to individual stocks.
So they're like...
we haven't seen since the pandemic,
taking their money and running.
Pretty much.
They don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Not with all this volatility.
It's all about reducing that risk when things are uncertain. Okay, so the Federal Reserve, they're not expected to cut interest rates anytime soon. But the markets are betting on rate cuts.
Starting when?
As early as June.
June. Wow, that's soon. So they're really worried about this downturn.
Yeah, they think the Fed's going to have to do something to boost the economy, which means lower borrowing costs.
Right. Makes things a little cheaper to encourage spending.
Exactly. Okay, so Citigroup, they've changed their minds about U.S. stocks. They're downgrading them.
Out to what?
To neutral.
Neutral, okay.
But they're upgrading China.
Oh, interesting.
Overweight.
So they're saying China's the place to be.
That's where the opportunities are.
Especially in tech.
Yeah.
Interesting.
HSBC, also not feeling so hot about U.S. equities.
So it seems like a big shift in thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe China's got a brighter future right now. Who knows?
We'll see. Okay. Japan, their economic growth wasn't as good as they initially thought. Weaker consumer spending. But their business investment was a little bit better.
Okay, so a mixed bag. But they're still worried about those U.S. tariffs.
Yeah.
It's not just emerging markets feeling the pressure.
Right, even developed economies like Japan are feeling the heat.
Interesting.
Okay, India, they imported way less edible oil.
A lot less.
In February, lowest in 4 years.
Wow.
Which means their stockpiles are lower. And that could mean higher prices for our palm oil.
Oh, good news for Malaysia.
Maybe. But their palm oil imports did actually go up from January.
So it's not so simple.
No. India's a huge player in the edible oil market.
Yeah.
So what they do affects everyone.
Makes sense.
All right, and speaking of palm oil, our crude palm oil is still pricier than other oils. And that's making those big buyers...
Like who?
Like India, the EU, China, cut back on what they're buying.
They're looking for bargains.
Yeah. So our exports are down. Their stock levels are the lowest they've been.
And how long?
In almost 3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
So the analysts are saying maybe prices will drop later this year.
We'll see. All right, Indonesia. Big plans here. They want to build a ton of new oil refineries.
A ton.
Double their previous target.
Wow.
Aiming for a capacity of 1 million barrels a day.
That's a lot of barrels.
They want to stop relying on imported oil and fuel.
So they're going for energy independence.
Yeah, a big move.
It's a huge project.
Yeah. All right, last piece of international news. Those U.S.-China trade talks seem to be stuck.
Uh-oh.
Not a lot of progress. And they're not really talking at the top level.
So no one's budging.
Nope. So that just adds to all that uncertainty.
It does, because we could see more trade disruptions, more tariffs. And that's not good for anyone.
All right. Let's move on to political news.
Okay.
The Ministry of Economy. They're putting the finishing touches on the 13th Malaysia Plan.
The 13th Malaysia Plan.
This is our economic roadmap for 2026 to 2030.
So the next 5 years.
Yeah. They're going to present it to Parliament in July.
Yeah.
And it's based on the Madani Economy Framework.
Oh, the Madani Economy.
Yeah. So this plan's going to tell us what the government's priorities are, their strategies for economic development. And they're focusing on things like strengthening our finances, finding new growth areas, and implementing those economic reforms.
It's really important stuff.
Yeah. If we want to become a high-income nation.
Exactly.
All right. Big news in healthcare.
Oh, what's happening?
Bank Negara Malaysia, the Ministry of Health, and the Employees Provident Fund, they're all working together.
That's a lot of big players.
Yeah, they want to make basic health insurance.
Yeah.
And take-a-full, more affordable.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and they want to focus on value-based healthcare.
So getting the most bang for your buck.
Exactly. So this is about making medical treatment more accessible and sustainable, while also keeping costs down.
You know, healthcare costs are a big concern for a lot of people.
They are. So this is a step in the right direction.
Definitely.
Okay, the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, they're open to new ideas for affordable housing projects.
So don't do
the
like
Residency Rakyat program. But
Mm-hmm.
that land ownership needs to be sorted out first. So yeah, the government's still committed to making sure everyone has a decent place to live.
That's good to hear.
All right, and to help with that rising cost of living, the government's expanding its cheap sales program, which includes the Ramamadani sales, especially before the festive season.
So people can save money on essentials?
And they're also making sure we've got enough essential food items available.
Okay, so no shortages.
Really trying to ease that financial burden on people. Yeah.
Especially during those times when everyone's spending more.
Exactly. Okay, and then Bank Negara Malaysia and others, they're looking for long-term solutions to control those rising medical costs.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
Because it affects everything. Healthcare affordability,
Yeah.
insurance premiums.
Yeah. So they've got some short-term measures in place.
Yeah.
But they're really focusing on those bigger changes.
To the system itself.
Yeah. Things like new payment models for hospitals.
Okay. So really addressing those root causes.
Exactly. All right, last bit of news. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.1% in January.
Not bad.
More people are joining the workforce. And there are more jobs.
Especially in those key sectors.
Yeah, and even youth unemployment went down a bit.
That's good news.
So overall, the labor market,
it's looking pretty good.
It's a good sign.
For the economy.
So there you have it. Our whirlwind tour of the Malaysian and global financial landscape for today, March 12, 2025. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.